And how your doctor can help or hurt if their opinion really even matters. Today with Roy Rickstrew. Join us for that discussion right after this. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us once again here on Monday morning on the Disability Guru. Right here we are. We're going to put the website scrolling along the bottom for you. I'm going to bump it up here just a little bit so it doesn't block our sponsors. Which, by the way, always feel free to visit our local sponsors. They'll take good care of you, and they take care of us. So, Roy, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Oh, better than I deserve, as always. So, good weekend?
Not bad, not bad. Been clearing out junk, things that I don't need anymore.
I played an incredible amount of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 this weekend. And so my question for you today is, if I've sprained my thumbs, can I get disability for that? Probably not.
Probably not.
Because I'm a lawyer, right?
Although the arthritis at the bottom joint does go a long ways when we talk about handling and fingering type jobs. So
no, I don't do
office
any of that
work,
stuff.
typing.
Typing, yeah, I do some typing. I do a lot of typing, actually. Yeah, okay. Well, that's good to know. I'll keep that in my back pocket. But so if I go see my doctor, is he going to help me or hurt me?
Well, it's kind of hard to say. The first thing that people often encounter when they talk to their doctors about disability is the doctors just won't fill out forms.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of a canned response. I've been told by doctors before that the concern is they fill out a questionnaire, we turn it in, and then they get subpoenaed to the court appearance and have to testify to defend their opinion. And obviously that's a day out of the practice for the doctor, and they don't like that.
I guess nobody explained to them that that's part of the cost of doing business when you're a doctor, right?
Yeah, I've never seen it happen either. I've never subpoenaed a doctor. I've never known of anybody who did. I think it's probably more of an excuse than anything else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just think that I'm sure that's true, but I mean, there's just certain things that are part of life and part of certain professions. And if you're an expert and you're giving expert opinions and treatment, then absolutely you're subject to come in and explain your opinions and why they matter sometimes. And that's just part of it. And they're an expert witness. They can bill for that, right?
I don't know if they can or not.
Okay, well,
I know if the judge subpoenas them, I think there is a fee that goes along with it. But, the greater point here, Will, is that, if you turn in a supportive statement from your doctor, you already have your doctor's opinion in the format that you prefer it to be, right. And you know what it says. There's no unknown variables in it. And given the fact that our Social Security hearings are not adversarial, there's nobody who's really going to put the doctor through the ringer anyway.
Well, and I guess, the question would be, and it's a tactic. Tactic is a strong word. I mean, it was a way we would approach it a lot of times back when I did a lot of courtroom testimony type work. It's like, listen, I understand you don't want to fill out this form. I understand you don't want to give an affidavit. I understand you don't want to provide documents. But if you don't, my only option is to subpoena you to come into court.
Right.
And so, doctor, you really have two options. You can fill out the form, or I will subpoena you. I have no choice.
Yeah, and what I tell clients a lot of times, is if you talk to the doctor about it and the doctor says, no, I don't want to do it, or they're apprehensive about it, we may not want their opinion.
Well, that's true too, yeah.
Yeah. You force somebody to come in and through subpoena and testify, we may not like what they testify to.
Yeah, that's where cross-examination comes in, which is always a lot of fun if you have to. But so what do you do with a doctor like that, or what should you do when you're seeking a doctor? How do you maybe mitigate this situation?
Well, and I think the best advice that I give folks is to think about the fact that doctors write out work excuses routinely. They've done these. Some of us have been hurt on the job before, hurt outside of the job, and had to have a work excuse to come back. And doctors are familiar with that. They're comfortable with it. And so a lot of times I tell folks, go in, talk to the doctor, say, look, I've got a lot of health problems, but I'm thinking about trying to go into the workforce. I'd like to get a list of reasonable accommodations that I would need to be able to talk to an employer. I want to be honest with the employer. I don't want to mislead somebody. And so, I've got this chronic swelling in my legs. I know that I have to put my feet up. If I could get a statement that kind of gives a worker limitation that says, hey, he'd need to elevate his feet from time to time. Doctors are more accustomed to writing those type of statements than they are making a determination on disability.
I see. So it's really the same information, maybe just in a slightly different format.
It's a little less threatening for the doctor, I think.
Okay. Have you ever run into the situation, like when I go to the doctor now, I usually do not see my doctor. Even my annual visit I just went to back in December, I never laid eyes on my doctor. It was a nurse prac. Great guy. Really liked him, actually. But he's not the MD. He's not the doctor. Is that come up in your work ever, that the doctor's really not the one providing the treatment?
Yeah, there's a couple things there. First of all, when you go to the doctor, a lot of times you see a PA or you see a nurse practitioner, and those folks roll in and out pretty quick. Sometimes I'll go to the doctor once a year, and I'll see a different nurse practitioner every time I go because they've rolled through so quickly.
I see. Turnover. Yeah.
Yeah. The degree of specialty does matter to Social Security, and obviously an MD and especially a specialist is going to be a more valuable opinion, a more knowledgeable opinion. PAs oftentimes work under the supervision of a doctor.
Sure.
And it's not uncommon for the PA to sign something and then the doctor who's supervising to countersign it. Nurse practitioners too.
Sure.
And in that situation, you essentially have two medical opinions of the PA and of the doctor. But PAs and nurse practitioners has just become a part of life to where I don't really see judges, limit a PA's opinion or a nurse practitioner's opinion substantially from that of an MD. The regulations call for it, but practically that's who you see. And it's more a matter of the treatment relationship that matters more. How frequent have you seen the doctor? If you see the doctor once a year like I do, his opinion may not matter a whole lot. If you see the doctor every month or every couple of weeks, then obviously there's more interaction to base an opinion from, and it matters a whole lot more.
Yeah, my doctor, I like him just fine, super nice guy, but I would just as soon see the nurse prac nowadays because it feels like they've got a little more time for you, can really answer those questions, so I'm happy to do that. Any parting thoughts for us today, Roy?
Anytime that you talk with your doctor about filing for disability, it's just real important that the doctor and you sit down and talk about limitations. A lot of people go in and they just kind of want to, yes, I'm disabled, and they think they're going to take that to Social Security and it's going to make the difference. In reality, Social Security is going to cross-check that doctor's opinion against their own medical records to make sure it's internally consistent, against the balance of the medical records to make sure it jives with the rest of the medical set. And then, also it has to be supported with objective findings or test results or something along those lines. We can't just simply say he can't stand or walk very far. We need to see that there's weakness or there's numbness or there's tingling on testing. It can't just be blanket statements or essentially it's of no use.
Seems to me like the better opportunity might be to get some free advice before you go talk to your doctor. Maybe you could do that. You can give Roy a call, 417-882-1800. He'll see you today. If you give him a call, you can get in, ask a couple questions, and maybe then go to your doctor. But until then, we'll be right here on K-ROG. Join us next week for more disability talk. We'll see you then.